and welcome back to Guild Wars 2 Pathfire Chapter 4 No Sacrifice. So we make it to a little outpost area and we go on our merry way. So we end up at the outpost and shit's going down. We can hear Blast, the dragon, and there's fire everywhere. It's a war. It's a battlefield. So I spend so much time going through this, trying to find the clues, and you have to find them in the right order, and then I had found them, or like I didn't head in quite the right direction from one of the clues, and so like Canuck like glitched out. Because when he says north, he means exactly north. And it's learning how to use the mounts. Well, I say mounts. It's using how to use the raptor and actually how to like go over some of the terrain and stuff. But as you're going, you know, they give you the optional quests. Okay, defeat these people and this and do that and take out the cannons or whatever, and you know, all the fun stuff. So I spend a lot of time walking around the Crystal Oasis in this freaking green circle, looking for all of the stuff. And I did all the optional tasks as well. So it's fun. It's so much fun. Now, I was moderately annoyed at one point. Yeah, this is probably the longest section out of Path of Fire. Just in terms of multiple parts to it as well. You know, you've got all of this chaos of this battlefield. You have to sort through and find the clues and the optional tasks, and then learning how to navigate the terrain with the raptor, and just groups and groups of forged and sand eels and sand sharks and just obnoxiousness. And it's literally like find this. And I just straight up missed that I had found part of it, or like I knew I had found part of it, but like didn't head in quite the right direction, I guess. So it was fine. So we made it there in the end. And honestly, I think if I had just not missed some of the jumps and stuff with the raptor, I would have figured it out a lot quicker, or progressed the story a lot quicker and not had to do the optional stuff. I mean, I still didn't have to do the optional stuff, but I did it because I was sick of looking for where I was supposed to be. Because, like, usually if they say, okay, head north, or, like, we should continue in this direction, they give you, like, an arrow or one of those little, like, star marker things or something, but they didn't ever switch it. Like, it just kept the green circle. So I was like, okay, well, there's clearly more stuff to find. And no, there was not more stuff to find. I just was being a dipshit and was not going in the right section. So it took me way too long to move on to the next part of the story. And like I'm zooming in on the map and like zooming out on the map and zooming in on the map and like, where in the hell am I supposed to be? Not realizing there's like a little ramp, just one little ramp. And like then I lost the impact site and I was like, okay, Kanak is here, right? And then I'm like looking and I'm like, are you gonna tell me anything else? Like, are you just I was so frustrated I stood in the fire and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna reset myself. And then I didn't. And then I went up this ramp and Kanak's like, oh, we're going the right way. And I'm like, because I know I went up that ramp and like I just hadn't taken enough steps onto it. But then we have to defeat the Herald of Balthazar again, or attempt to defeat the Herald of Balthazar again. Did we actually beat him up this time? I don't know. This is like the third or fourth time at this point that we've had to fight the Herald of Balthazar, and like it's just endless. It's just endless fighting this particular character. They're just always there, and they're always a pain in the butt with the fire and the wishing of the wind and the meh. And I'm like, can we just not? And it was just rings of fire everywhere. They really went hard on this whole fire thing. It was just constant. It's just constant different things. And the swirly tornado of doom was by far one of the worst things that she did. Oh no, we actually did defeat it completely. Okay. Then we get to the top and we see Balthazar with Vlast all chained up. And we're like, oh shit, Vlast is like real. And we go into this cutscene and Vlast sacrifices himself for us. I was like, what? Little baby Irene doesn't get her big brother? I mean, obviously, because why would any of the dragons survive? But then we get these memory crystals. And our new mission now is to go find the memory crystals. And we're also given some backstory about when Ritlock was in the mists and a little bit about his sword Sahathan lost its flame and he had met a stranger in the mists and the stranger was like, yeah, I can ignite your sword Sahathan again, like no problem, but you gotta free me. And stranger was Balthazar. So then we start running around looking for the memory crystals, which we all know how good I am at navigation. So that was an experience in and of itself. But as we're running around, we get to these crystals. They're like, oh, you can't reach this. You're going to need a different way of getting this. And you need the Springer mount to get it. So we have to go unlock the Springer mount. But to get to the Springer mount area, you have to unlock canyon jumping for the raptor. So we got to run around, and I did try and find all of the memory shards that I could without needing canyon jumping and or did I say skimmer? Not the skimmer. The rabbit, but it's not called Springer. They call it a Springer. And it drives me crazy that there's a Springer and a skimmer. And they don't just call the Springer a rabbit or a hare or a jumper. Anything else. Literally anything else. But yeah, this is literally just me running around this area endlessly in the same location 1,000 times. Because I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I need the canyon jumping to get to the Springers. And to get canyon jumping, I have to unlock the mastery tier. And to unlock the mastery tier, I have to get like the experience and the mastery points, because you're only 4 steps into, this is your 4th step into Path of Fire. Like, you do not have a ton of mastery points yet. Like, I had to, my mesmer came and helped me, and we just tooled around the area getting experience, which actually went pretty quickly. Hero challenges will do that. They'll give you a shitload of experience, and like I had found a couple of random group events and stuff to help with. So I had enough mastery, or I had enough experience, and then I needed mastery points. I needed like 3 mastery points, and I was like, I've never, like once I've needed to go and find mastery points, and that was Maguma. So I was like, alright, great. So then we went on a mastery point search, which was fine, except that like the first mastery point we went to, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. It was this copy the pattern thing that the ghost gave you to do, and I don't know why, but it was rough. It was rough to try and do it. Like, you had to, and I don't know why, like it really was not, it was not that hard of a puzzle by any means. Like, there were only 6 choices, and it was 3 and 3, and they'd do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you would do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they'd, do it 5, and then they would do 6. But I couldn't keep them. I could not keep them straight. I think there was just, it was and was not a visual puzzle, in that it was only set up with blue lights, but it was auditory because there were different notes for each one, and I couldn't keep the notes straight, and I was very distracted with the sounds from the game and the notes it was giving me, because if you stood next to the note, it like did that note, and it was really disruptive and annoying. But like, there was a lot of external factors going on in this room as we were playing, so I couldn't do it. I hated that I had to not do it, but didn't do it. So but we found some others to go and grab, which was not an issue, especially because he's a portal mesmer, so he could, I would, even without the other mounts, he could go up there or wherever and get things situated for me. I just lost my train of thought completely. So yeah, it was literally like we did 1 or 2 hero challenges, and I had enough experience. Like, it's insane. Oh, we did the farmers in the circle event as well, with all the farmers that wanted to be in the fire. Protect me as I stand in the fire circle. We're like, guys, just stand in the middle. Please stand in the middle. Like, why are you trying to touch the fire circle? Can you make my job a little easy? But yeah, as soon as we completed those 2 events, I had enough experience, and then I'm like, I need mastery points. Also a pain. I mean, I did get some map exploration out of it, which is nice, but still, it's a pain. So yeah, I couldn't do, the others were just like, oh, go commune with this, and like I can usually do the puzzle one, so I don't really know why I couldn't do the puzzle this time, but it is what it is. We did eventually get the mastery points, though, from other sections. I think I tried it 4 or 5 times before I was like, I cannot continue doing this. This is not working. I was super frustrated with it. It really is not. I'm just mad looking at the footage too. I'm just mad. So salty. Then we were gliding and like, I don't know what happened, but like, I was gliding and then I was not, and I died. It's not Minecraft. It's not Minecraft. You can die in a puddle. You can die in a puddle. So yeah, that's always good. Always good to die in a puddle. And then we beat up some more stuff, and he was really trying to test my sense of direction. He was like, follow me over here. And I was like, I can't. I don't know where you went. And he was like, okay, we were there. And he was like, okay, you see me? And I was like, sure, totally see you. Yep. I was not having a great time when I recorded this part of it. Like, my brain was not there at all. I think this was okay, but this was at the beginning of my ginormous session of playing Guild Wars 2. I said in, I think the last video, I've already finished Path of Fire. I sat down and just did it. Like, I think this might have said like the beginning of that day, because over the course of the weekend, I went from being on I think I had finished section 3, and I started this one, and I think I logged on that day and I was like, okay, I need your help with this, and then he logged off, and I just sat and played for the rest of the day until like 4 a.m. And I didn't actually process how far into the game I had gotten. Like, I had played for a solid 9 hours. I hadn't done that in a very long time. I don't think I've ever really done that with Guild Wars 2. I don't think I've ever just sat and played. I give them credit for their storyline. They didn't make it super frustrating. There were a couple parts where I was frustrated, but never enough to be like, I quit this. I knew it was attainable. So it was just those things of, I kept playing and I kept playing, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll stop after the next one, and so yeah, we do, like I said, we get the other mastery points, which is just communing with them. It's not anything super crazy. And he takes me over to the Springer camp, and then that's where we part our ways once I get into the Springer camp. And all the fun starts. So yeah, and it's this just completing the heart. they don't make it particularly difficult to unlock the mounts, thankfully. It's just completing the hearts in that section, at least for the springers and the skimmers. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for the last two or three mounts I have to do, I think. I'm not gonna lie, this heart was a little bit tedious though, because like there's other stuff where like if you beat things up, like you get a ton of experience for it, right? But like this particular heart, for whatever reason, there really wasn't a lot of the harpies to beat up. Like the thing to beat up was groundhogs. You had to chase the groundhogs out of the ground, and I'm like, I chased a lot of groundhogs out of the ground and stabbed a lot of groundhogs. Or gophers? Groundhogs or gophers? I think groundhogs. They called them groundhogs. I literally just spammed groundhogs until I won the heart. And then I had a springer, and then I could sell all my stuff. And then I could go and continue getting memory crystals. And in and of itself was not that annoying to go get the memory crystals. The annoying part is that you would have to use the raptor to get to one part, and then the springer to get to the next part. But if there were any bad guys that started to attack you, you couldn't switch your mounts. Switching mounts is fairly annoying. Some of the memory crystals were a lot easier to get to than others. Some of them were just like, okay. But dude, having a springer makes life so much easier. Like what? Like what? It's insane. Oh yeah, I had to talk to Timey too. So I had ended up talking to Timey there as well. Because there was one spot that you could talk to Timey. It kind of just looks like a fat bridge across the map, over near the purple part, and I couldn't get to it without... I didn't know how to get to there with just my raptor, so I had waited until I got a springer. And then it eventually did show up, like, okay, here your here's how many crystals you have. And then it turned into like optional, like collect all the crystals, and I'm like, no, I am collecting all of these crystals. You told me I had to get the crystals. I'm collecting the crystals. I'm not just... No. I was so annoyed that it was like, oh, this is optional. I'm like, what do you mean it's optional? The whole point of getting the springer was to get the memory crystals. Why you do this to me? But yeah, I ended up finding all of the rest. I think I had tried to get to this one and then failed and went and did a different one and then came back to this one. And I was bouncing around quite a bit. The memory crystals were spread out far and wide across the terrain. I was a little surprised at how far out they got spread, but it was alright. We found them. Because we had to go over to like the Brightwater Inlet and like a couple other places we hadn't really discovered or explored at all, but map exploration is map exploration at some point. So that's what I was doing. Like I said, there were way more memory crystals than I initially thought there were. Like I thought there was like 4 or 5, and there ended up being like 7. That doesn't sound right. Maybe there was 5 and it just feels like there were more. I really don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you, I do not remember off the top of my head. No, there had to be more than 5. There had to be more than 5. Yeah. But yeah, this area over here, the Brightwater Inlet area, is super weird to navigate. And then you end up like finding this Choika camp, like little settlement of things, which like keep in mind, outside of this camp, they're like, I'm attacking you, but inside this camp, they're like, and you can help them, and like they give you a heart, and it's like, okay, sure. I don't think I completed their heart. But then this last crystal was a pain in the butt to get to. There were 3 or 4 harpies just parked underneath it. And I'm like, what? What is this? Like, why are you here? And it took me like 3 or 4 tries to get to this silly little crystal. And I'm like, this is like the last crystal or second to last crystal. Like, what is this nonsense? So I finally get that crystal. So yeah, it's the second to last crystal. And then the last memory is the one I hadn't gotten to. Couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, well, guess we're gonna try this nonsense again. And keep in mind, this is like the 4th time I've been over to this wall and like trying to figure out what is going on over here. I hated this area so much. And I jump over things and jump back over things and canyon jump and jump some more and I did not like navigating this area. I don't know why. It was a pain in my butt. And like, you can see when I pull up the map, I'm clueless. I do eventually get there though. I do eventually achieve my goal of collecting all of the freaking memory crystals. And I grab mastery points now too, because why not? I got the mounts for it. So once you get all the memory crystals, like you have a lot of last memories and what he wanted to pass on to Ari and stuff. And then the last part is just getting over that little barrier, which is easy now. I think I did it a different way than you actually wanted you to, but that's that.